Alright guys, good morning and welcome back to the channel. My name is Highruler and today's video is just going over the patch notes for Suicide Squad. Now, there are going to be some things that are going to be really good about this patch. There are going to be some things that aren't so good about this patch, and I will talk about all of that. But before we move forward, let's actually see what they say. So they go on to say, hello Task Force X, the main focus of this patch is to address a number of issues that we have seen players run into since launch. Among these are fixes for various crashes, progression blockers, connectivity issues, and several server-side improvements. There are a couple of points we specifically wanted to highlight. For players experiencing issues when trying to log in, we believe this patch will address the issue for some. We are continuing to investigate further causes of this and will have additional fixes in upcoming patches. For players experiencing performance issues and disconnects while playing multiplayer, we have addressed a number of issues in this update, and players should see improvements when playing with others. So one of the big things that I've seen, and I'm sure many of you guys have as well, is that when you play with people, it actually starts off not so bad. And then as you go on, you play for longer periods, then it actually starts to degrade and it starts to become a very choppy experience. So I'd be kind of interested to see, and you guys can report back on this if you are able to kind of play for longer periods of time in the multiplayer, because if so, then that is a good change. That is a very good thing that they've done. So remains to be seen. They also go on to say we're investigating the release of some additional server hotfixes that aim to further improve matchmaking and reduce errors when joining online sessions. Now, this is also a big thing that I've seen, of course, for anyone who's had their mastery levels unfortunately just be locked and continue to be locked. It's been hard trying to play those mastery levels because you have to do like online play, right? And if you don't have friends online, then you have to matchmake, and matchmaking hasn't been great. And then obviously the multiplayer performance, as I said, just hasn't been great either. So, I mean, for myself, it's just there's a whole host of things right now that are going on that seemingly make this a very unfun experience when it comes to just trying to play the game. So, of course, would like to see that fix. Of course, it looks like they're trying to fix it, but it's just one of those things where it's just a matter of time. I guess. Then they say we are aware that there are other issues that are not yet addressed with this patch, but know that we are in laser focus on resolving issues as quickly as we can, and we have more fixes on the way in future updates. We aim to follow up with our weekly developer update later in the week to address any questions you may have around the contents of this patch. So last week it was Friday. I would imagine it's going to be once again on Friday. I will cover that for you guys and we'll talk all about it. Then let's talk about the changes in the release. They say to help players more easily access the endgame, we've increased the reward from completing the first Mayhem mission to 9,000 Promethium, up from 3,000. We've increased the rewards from completing Raising Hell. These increase with each tier for some pretty juicy loot and a bunch of Promethium and crafting materials. New Promethium reward amounts and gear drops. Tier 1 is 3,000, Tier 2 is 4,500, Tier 3 is 6,000, Tier 4 is 7,000, Tier 5 is 8,000. Each tier will also grant at least one legendary item. Taking out the hit squads will also grant a set amount of gear drops in addition to completing Raising Hell. These drops can only be legendary and notorious items. Tier 1 is 3, Tier 2 is 4, Tier 3 is 5, Tier 4 is 5, Tier 5 is 5. Enemies and hack support squad missions will now prioritize the shield harvestable state over the burning effect. This should make these missions easier to complete if using a build that often triggers the Diablo Blaze Affliction, and for those using Black Mass Notorious firearms. We've updated the DPS values for Notorious and Infamy firearms to be consistent across all weapon types within their respective tier and rarity. Okay, what does this mean? Like, that feels very vague. So, I mean, you guys are going to have to report back on that one. Obviously, since I haven't been able to play the game to the degree that I would like, obviously, when it comes down to a wording like that, I see that wording and I think nerf, but I don't know. So, if you guys wouldn't mind, because that definitely has some very vague wording on purpose, it seems like. Green Lantern infused choppers in Lex's second support squad mission have now been replaced with non-infused choppers. Bug fixes. Fix the bug in which players were sometimes sent back to the seizure warning screen after attempting to join a session. Fix the bug that resulted in character being unable to move if the player was idle for 30 minutes before completing a mission. Fix the bug in which players were not correctly ordered on the leaderboard if they had a better score within the same mastery level. Fix the bug that in rare cases causing players who launched the game for the first time to have 100% game completion. Wow, that was still a thing? I thought that was fixed a long time ago. Fix the bug whereby one or more players may appear as in Metropolis while setting up an incursion mission, preventing it from being started. That's a good fix. Fix the bug that was sometimes resolved on a white screen after skipping the post-fight cinematic after killing Brainiac. I know a lot of people that I talked to were experiencing that, so good on that fix. Fix the bug where players would receive loot from incursions that are higher than their current match rate level cap. No, don't fix that. Fix the bug that would sometimes cause the truck to jiggle in place, resulting in performance issues if left idle for too long in Drive to Centennial Park mission. Fix the bug that sometimes preventing voice chat from working when joining an online session with a friend. That's a good fix. Fix the bug in which man missions in Chapter 7 would sometimes have random mutators applied instead of the set mutators. That's interesting. Fix various issues that can occur in an online session after a player's internet connection drops in and out repeatedly. Fix the bug that would sometimes cause the game to become unresponsive when unplugging a controller during the map tutorial after completing the Hello Oswald mission. Fix the bug that would sometimes cause enemies to become unresponsive during incursions while in an online session. Fix a bug that resulted in players sometimes getting stuck inside some walls or terrain in Killing Time Hardcore after defeating Brainiac. Fix the bug that sometimes resulted in players falling out of the game world after leaving the Batman Museum. Fix the memory leak that was likely to happen if playing through the entirety of chapters 1 through 5 in a single sitting. Wow. Fix the bug that would sometimes result in a loading Metropolis screen after collecting your first affliction from Ivy. Now, it's really interesting. I just want to highlight this one, the memory leak, because it does seem like a lot of people on the PC side, at least, were reporting that there was some significant performance issues. I've even noticed that myself, where the game will hitch or, FPS doesn't really seem where it needs to be at certain times. So it is nice that at least in this one, they were able to identify the memory leak and then fix it. But obviously, PC performance is still a thing that's ongoing, and I would like to see that obviously improve over time. Fix the bug that prevented players from picking up epic augments for Lucky Charms when modifying gear with Toyman, stopping the player from returning to the game. Fix the bug that sometimes resulted in legendary weapons having the names of their lower rarity versions instead. Fix the bug that prevented shield harvest kills from counting towards contract progress. Fix the bug that instantly increased a player's finite crisis rank by completing a single incursion hosted by a player of a much higher rank. Fix the bug that was resulting in the burn damage numbers on the HUD not being accurate. Fix augments showing as invalid when viewing another player's profile from the leaderboards. Honestly, this right here, guys, has kind of killed any sort of build videos, I think. Now, obviously, if you do build videos, I think there is still room to maneuver there, right? But I think with the ability to view the top players from the leaderboards, you don't really necessarily need to go to YouTubers anymore, right? Obviously, if you're looking for certain play styles, you're looking for kind of the theory behind what you're picking. I think, once again, there is wiggle room there, but it's always been interesting to me since this whole thing has been announced and then you're able to see it in motion that, YouTubers are still doing build videos. Of course, obviously I don't do build videos. I'm not that smart, but it just feels like it's one of those things where Suicide Squad kind of killed that for the YouTubers because players can just go, oh, top player, let's see what they're running. Boom, 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 but not me. So fix the worst case scenario mission granting loot after the initial completion. Fix the bug that sometimes caused enemies to be unresponsive during the Noisemaker mission while in an online session. Fix the bug that would sometimes cause the game to become unresponsive when unplugging a controller during the Rapid Transit Unlock tutorial. Fix the bug that would sometimes cause the game to become unresponsive when unplugging a controller during the Nano Enhancement Unlock screen. Fix the Molecular Agitator's legendary augment not working correctly in a multiplayer session. Fix the bug that would place players inside the Lex Tower garage during the Batman's Last Ride mission if the host disconnected during the cinematic. Fix the potential photosensitivity concern in the cinematic for the Best Frenzy Forever mission. Fix the privacy policy button opening the wrong link. Fix various localization inaccuracies in the in-game store. Fix the bug that could lead to performance issues after repeatedly viewing emotes in the game menu. Fix the bug that sometimes caused Deadshot to not animate correctly during his emotes and rival taunts. Fix the bug that prevented Lutenauts from spawning from their host if they were killed by Harley's suicide strike. Fix the bug that would sometimes cause the exit portal markers to show in different places for the host and the client if the client joins in too late to an incursion. Fix the bug that would sometimes lead to an extended black screen if the host leaves and then rejoins while loading during the Batman's Last Ride mission. Fix various instances of the clients being stuck on loading screens when a host aborts a mission. Fix the bug in which Bizarro's Undeath Ray will remove all shield overcharge when using its regular fire mode. Fix the localizations for the OG villains leaderboard. Fix the crash that would sometimes occur during killing time following audio corruption. Fix the crash that would occur when viewing Batman in the Codex and exiting back to the main Codex menu. Fix the crash that could sometimes occur during Fortress Metropolis after engaging the first enemy. Fix the crash that could sometimes occur after leaving Wayne Bank and traversing to the Lantern Killer mission location. Fix a crash that can sometimes occur when approaching a loot, not while reloading as Harley. Various additional client crash fixes, various additional server crash fixes, various other server improvements, various updates to the game credits. PC only, fix a bug that was causing players in your Steam friend list to show as not an Argus database. Yep, had that one for sure. PC only, fix a bug that resulted in mouse acceleration being disabled when turning off juggle aim snap. And then PC only addressed an issue with overly large patch sizes, which is always a great thing. So there are some good changes in here, guys. There are some bug fixes that will address a lot of issues that people were having. Obviously, the big things here is that making sure people can actually get back into the game. Obviously, when people still can't get into the game, they have addressed for some, but not all. So I'd like to see, obviously, over the next couple of patches, this being addressed for everybody. So hopefully they are starting to kind of hone in on what is exactly happening and players are able to play the game that they paid for. Obviously, on the next point there, you want to make sure that when they are playing the game, they're able to enjoy it, which means multiplayer has to work. It has to work correctly, and there can't be any of this degradation going on when you play for longer periods of time. And then obviously when it comes to certain people such as myself, I'm going to toot this own horn. Mastery levels, man. Mastery levels have to be fixed. And it's kind of bizarre that this was waiting for a patch, it seems like, right? In their Discord, they said this was ready to go. It was fixed, just waiting to release. And now it's 2 patches, right? So obviously, if there is a patch coming next week, you know, I guess I'll just have to wait a week from now and see if it's fixed. But obviously, when you see something is fixed, just awaiting release, and they still haven't released it, that can be a very frustrating experience. Because without that being fixed, or without multiplayer being better, or without the rest of the package being, you know, as good as it can be, it really does feel like I'm just not really into this game as much as I wish I was. And hopefully, as things are getting ironed out, as things are getting fixed, I'm able to kind of join you guys, play the game, and have some fun. Because right now, just kind of looking on the outside in, knowing that like if I log in, my mastery levels are still kind of fucked, it's not fun. And it's a very frustrating experience. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you guys on Friday for the developer update video, and I'll have that out for you guys. But until then, enjoy the rest of your day and night. Take care of yourselves. Later, guys.